Welcome to your one-stop shop for picking the optimal FPL captain every game week. Does anyone compete with Salah? Well, there's a few key fixtures. You've got Watford against United, City against Everton, and Spurs against Leeds, so I think this is one of the best opportunities. Let's jump straight into it and start building the shortlist. First up, defending the captain's armband is none other than Mo Salah against Arsenal at home. Secondly is a player that quite a few of us will own ahead of the fixture swing. It's Harry Kane against Leeds at home. Penultimately is a player that's not quite as owned as he used to be. It's Cristiano Ronaldo against Watford away. And the last player on the shortlist is Kevin De Bruyne against Everton at home. Both him and Salah benefit from the midfielder point scoring where they get an additional point for a goal and the clean sheet point potential as well. Everyone but Ronaldo benefits from the home advantage. This week's honourable mention goes out to Son. Kane's data was slightly more competitive, especially with the penalty appeal, so if I was going for a Spurs player, I would go for him. Okay, so let's take a look at the stats from this and last season combined. First of all, Ronaldo's Italian League numbers have been converted with a 0.88 multiplier. This is because the Premier League is roughly 12% more difficult from an attacking perspective. At a glance, it's clear to see that Salah's got the best stats across the board. There's only De Bruyne who really competes with him on the non-penalty expected return points per 90 minutes. Kane is the only player on the shortlist that competes with Salah in terms of overperforming their underlying stats. Both of them have got 0.6 non-penalty return points per 90 minutes than what was expected of them. Ronaldo is miles behind in all aspects and he's got the least promising numbers. If anything, Salah easily wins this section. Moving on to the set pieces. Both Salah and Kane are on penalties for their respective clubs. It's likely to be Bruno Fernandes for Manchester United, but I'm not 100% certain. And since Aguero's departure, Manchester City don't have a dedicated penalty taker. It's probably going to be De Bruyne to step up, but I'm not certain. As for the free kicks and corners, Salah occasionally takes the odd direct free kick, but it's predominantly Trent for Liverpool. He doesn't take any indirect free kicks or corners, and as a matter of fact, neither do Kane or Ronaldo, which leaves KDB as the only player on the shortlist to take indirect free kicks and corners. Being the set piece specialist for City, he is the main man on direct free kicks as well. This also applies to Kane for Spurs. Ronaldo takes the majority of direct free kicks for United, but he's not quite as nailed. Let's take a look at the probability of each player scoring or assisting. These odds are based on the assumption that each player plays 90 minutes. We'll take a look at the expected minutes later on in the video. Ronaldo and Salah take the lead on the anytime goal scorer odds with 51%, therefore they're more likely to score than not. Kane is trailing by just 3% and De Bruyne is miles behind with a measly 34%. He does compensate for that on the anytime assist odds though, where he is in a league of his own because he is the most creative player in the league. Salah is the second best for the anytime assist odds, so he's got the highest anytime return odds per 90 minutes with 65%. Actually, Salah dominates the probability section more than it seems. He gets an extra 25% of the points that Kane and Ronaldo get for each goal scored, and his odds are weighted heavily on goals unlike De Bruyne. Moving on to the points projections. Salah completely dominates these as well. He tops a Fantasy Football Scout and Fantasy Football Fix algorithms. He's head and shoulders above the rest, so he's the undisputed winner of this section too. By comparing the opposition's defence, we can see why the other three players made it onto the shortlist. Despite Salah having the most difficult fixture in terms of goals conceded and expected goals conceded per 90 minutes, they're still less likely to keep a clean sheet than two poor defences, Watford at home and Leeds. This goes to show how much of an attacking threat Liverpool offer, especially Salah. Just like recent game weeks, it's been a classic form versus fixture, and yet again, Salah's hot streak has overshadowed the rest. Before we draw up a conclusion, let's carry out a quick risk assessment. After the international break, all four of the players on the shortlist have had an ample amount of resting time. Salah only featured as a substitute for 31 minutes in Egypt's last match. He's the most nil player on the shortlist with the highest expected minutes. And with that, we've got enough information to clarify the best captain for game week 12 is of course Mo Salah. Hopefully another player challenges Salah in the upcoming game weeks. We need a combination of Salah blanking, another player hitting form, Salah having a difficult fixture, or the other player having an easier fixture. The African Cup of Nations might help that as well. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you found this video informative, and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. I'll see you here again for game week 13 where hopefully someone beats Salah.